Yep. For those of you who don't know, we are doing a conversation about preparing for your taxes. And it was inspired from, we have had our tax struggles. And for those of you who have yet to see our little my IGTV video about my story, be sure to check that out. I don't want to take too much time because I know these three beautiful ladies each have their stories to share, and I think they're going to have so much great stuff to share with us. So, but yeah, and Erin, who I connected with via social media this past year, that's Erin in the middle. She was so gracious. I just said, hey, like, what do you think? And she was like, sure. So thank you guys so much. It's gonna be
thank you.
Okay, so I know Delicia, and this is
my mom, Rachel.
Nice
I'm Rachel.
to meet you. Wait, so
Nice to meet you.
I think so when people go to do podcast interviews, we stalk each other so we know what we're talking about. And I think aren't you on the page as like part of the team?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, I gotta say, you look really amazing. You look
Thank you.
I just thought like we're all like in the same generation. Amazing. You look amazing. So I'm really excited to hear your stories, but I do want to intro you guys a little bit. I did think of some really nice things to say about you. Very genuine, because I really appreciate you. So first of all, like I said, Erin, she's the first one that I connected with. Erin's in the middle. And okay, starting out online, over a couple of years, I have always been that girl to like follow people while trying to start my blog, but then I'd go and like comment on other people's stuff on Twitter and just be overly encouraging. And I feel like people did not take that the right way. Like, oh, what is she trying to do? And I was like, okay, so I misunderstood. But I loved that when I got on Instagram, Erin followed me, I think. We got connected. I don't know how, but Erin was like more encouraging than I am. And for me, I was like,
I'll agree to that. I'll attest to that.
Right?
She's
kindred spirits is how I felt. Like, wow. And she was so genuine, I could tell, and very consistent. Like, that's awesome, and that's awesome too. And anything that like not that my platform is for Erin, but she has just always been super supportive. And then Erin has a podcast called Millennials in Ministry. It is phenomenal. Yeah. She connects with all of these amazing people, and then is super humble and gracious to connect with people like little old me. That's how I feel. So thank you, Erin. I am so happy and blessed and just honored to be connected to you, seriously. And then Delicia, I was stalking you, Delicia, and I'm like, woo, pastor's wife. She has a beautiful family. She has 2 girls. I'm getting ready to be in the 2-girl squad myself. And I don't know, but all of that is kind of like what I'm into. So I'm very excited to be connected to you. And then I'm like, if you're connected to Erin, you must be awesome. And then hearing a little bit about Rachel's story is just amazing. And just to see you guys doing great things just generationally. And then obviously y'all love Jesus. So that's just incredible. So I am just super grateful. Can't thank you guys enough just for this opportunity to chat with you. And with that, we can get started. So feel free to interject anything else that you feel like is on your heart to talk about. But I do want to start out because with Pay It Forward Taxes, you guys, each of you have your own reasons for getting involved in this kind of business. And taxes, most people would not think that that is a fun thing to do, and then think that that would be like a helpful service. And it is a needs-based business. And just the name, I really love the branding that you guys have. So with all of that, I know from doing my research and just from even talking with Erin that this is really something connected to a passion for you guys. It's very family based. It's very about the future. And I wanted to hear your hearts a little bit about creating a legacy of financial wellness. Why is that important to each of you?
That's a good question. Who wants to answer first?
One of you should.
Okay, you want to go, Mom?
I'll go first. So 28 years ago, I became a bookkeeper. But I did it because I was a single mom and I needed to provide for my children. And so for my 3 girls. And it just it was something I got into, just with finances, and it really encouraged me, helped me to understand. I didn't come from a family background of teaching, about keeping track of your expenses, understanding what expenses were, what liabilities were. I didn't understand any of that stuff. So I kind of learned, and my kids ended up becoming a product of that. But now I feel like Delicia, she's taking it to a whole new level. Like I was able to, take a few steps forward in a different direction from what I was taught and what I learned, and, or wasn't taught, and had to kind of go out and learn on my own. And now it's just kind of growing from there. So,
yeah. To piggyback on what my mom said is that it's something that she's has been a part of her life, but starting Pay It Forward taxes. Taxes is not as boring. It's not like, oh my gosh, I want to start taxes, or do taxes,
They've always thought my career was boring.
Yeah, we would tell it out every time. Like, she really wanted us to, take that in, and we're like, no, what you do is boring. Don't want any part of it. But, I saw my mom, she always had an entrepreneur heart, and that's something that she's always taught us. And as a single mom, she was always grinding. And so she always worked hard in that. And the reason for being a part of Pay It Forward taxes is because of these two. For me, it's because of the fact that Erin is so contagious in her encouragement. And when Erin says that you need to do something, you will do it. You will do it. And that's just from our friendship of knowing each other. And that's just kind of what sparked me to want to be a part of this. But also because we all come from our faith being aligned in the same way, and what we believe in and who we are as followers of Christ, that for me, it's about a legacy to continue that on. My mom, unfortunately, has had hardships when starting businesses with partners and with money ruining our extended family, and we saw that hurt us personally. So for me, I really didn't want to do it for a very long time. I never even wanted to start a business because I saw what it did to my family and how it tore them apart. But meeting Erin, and at this time and point in our lives, I just felt this peace about it. Let's do this, because financially we both came from I want to change my family to know that you can do business with people who are like-minded like you. Yeah. And that the enemy doesn't need to have that fear over me anymore. And he did for so long. So this is really walking out in that faith for me personally and for my family, to know that this is possible, that we can do this together, and we can do this with God, and that we can change our family's legacy forever because of just me saying yes to this. Yeah. So, I know some of you guys are this is about taxes. Yeah, it is about taxes, but it's so much greater than taxes for us. And this is our why and what we do.
Yeah, and it really does go back to, I think, because Jesus is center for all of us, that we're all servants at heart. And it's important for us to be able to give back at any point in time, without having to take a paycheck from a church or from a body, that we're financially fit enough to say, well, we can do that. Hey, I can be there. It's not going to burden my household at all. Yeah. In fact, I want to be able to give. And so this is just a vehicle for all of that.
And I would say, why taxes? I think, truthfully, for me, it's been such a journey. Like you mentioned, Millennials Ministry, which Delicia was the one that encouraged me to do something, to step out. So it's kind of, this whole thing is full circle for me. And every time I tell the story, I'm wow, she's really been instrumental in my life, and God's really used her. to encourage me to step out and use my gift, which turned into Millennials in Ministry, to interview someone that had a larger following that was a bit intimidating to reach out to. But researching her, I found this opportunity, which led us to start this business, which talking with her, she was like, let's do it together. So it's just honestly, like she was saying, God's timing. And I'm at a place in my life where I've learned so many things from so many different people, where it's now time to take a leap of faith and bet on myself and bet on my own gifts and bet on what God has put in me to help other people. Because what I would love to do for my family, this is a baby step. This is something that God is going to use to help us build capital to then reinvest in other things for other people and for our family. So that's part of my why with this tax company.
You guys are so inspirational. That is wow. Amazing. And I mean, family, you have women working together, like all of that together, plus money, plus an industry that is not so fun, etc. Like, you know that this is a God thing. It is working so well, and you can just feel it. Like, oh, I love it. And I love that we're starting with this, because you're absolutely right. It's like, it's not just about the taxes. It's like, there's more behind this. And as you guys help people get their stuff together, they'll see that it impacts their family in a way that maybe they won't be doing taxes, but, oh, okay, I can have financial wellness too, and that will affect my family for generations. So amazing. Okay. I think you all covered what made you want to get into this kind of work. So let's talk a little bit about preparing our taxes. This is not the fun part, but I know from you guys it'll be fun. It's not fun for me because it's triggering, like, but I'm so glad that you guys are the ones sharing it with us. So I know that Pay It Forward Taxes is a partner of Jumping Jack Taxes. And I've heard you guys say, and also Jumping Jack Taxes say, like, the IRS doesn't work for us. Can you explain that concept for the audience a little bit?
Yeah, we can.
You want to explain a little bit about the video?
Yeah. So there's a video that Jumping Jack Tax put together with two of their executive team members, and they were explaining on the video, which we have on our feed if you'd like to take a look at it, but the IRS, essentially, they're the ones that put together the TurboTax system, which for many years, that's what I've been using. I've never personally used someone else to file my taxes. I've always used software because that's what my family used. That's what I knew to use at the time. But the more that I go through tax preparation school and I'm learning so much about this, I'm realizing that the IRS, as they've set and created this tax software, they are all about making sure they get what they need. Because if you think about it, getting the funds from us, the tax funds from us, helps them fund programs for the nation that they need, right? So they're all about getting what they need in order to do what their mission is, but they're not trying to make sure you get back everything that's owed to you. If you don't know that it's owed to you, they're not like bending over backwards to make sure you get that, because they don't work for you, if that makes sense. So when you work with a tax professional, that their mission is to work for you, to make sure that you get back everything that's due to you and that's owed to you, that's where the difference comes in.
Right.
And the thing about using like the online prep softwares for your the apps or this online software for your taxes is that even having 28 years of experience in bookkeeping, it's very difficult to find where you're supposed to depreciate items or itemize deductions. So for somebody who has experience, who can't find those little toggles or those little directives of where you go, where, I know it belongs on page 8, item number 15, but it's nowhere to be found. And I have to sit on hold for a really long time for them to kind of figure that out. It kind of tells you it is not easy for someone who is just sitting down trying to prepare their own taxes by themselves. And I mean, it's kind of silly to go back to the very entity. You're expecting them to do your taxes, but that's the very entity that you should also be checking. A third party system should be checking to make sure that this is accurate. Can I do this? So that's why it's important not to, do those kind of quick and easy. I only have one W-2. I only have, a few little, deductions, but you don't know until you know, until you sit down with someone, until, you're asked all of these questions, well, did you use your car? Does your mileage, did you keep track of your mileage? Did you keep track of your repairs for your vehicle? What about your cell phone? So it's like all these things we don't really think about. And so it's just, that's why it's important to kind of have a relationship with someone. And honestly, that kind of goes, I think this is going to cover another one of your questions, but we're more than just tax preparers. We're looking to actually, have a relationship, understand what it is that what you need, what you're looking for. Maybe through conversation, we'll discover a new facet of something that you're doing. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Did you know that this is a tax deduction? And that's not really going to happen when you're kind of in a process or in a mill, whether you're online or you're at an H&R Block where there's like 30 or 40 people waiting to be seen. So.
Such good stuff. I know for me, like, if we didn't have, like, we had our church accountant also did taxes. And if we didn't have him doing it, we probably would do the same thing. Like, just to get it done. It's a painful process for people who don't have like a lot of money maybe, or don't know how to manage their finances. It's like, let's just get it over with. Oh, it's January. I can plug it in really quick. Not realizing that there is so much we could be missing. And then that personal touch of just, hey, now I see you spent a lot in this area. How about this? Whatever, like, that is invaluable. And I think it's really important. It's really important to know, like, what's out there, what's available, and have that really professional and personal touch to see, like, what's really going on with our money. And obviously, that accountability piece, I felt like that was a really big point, Miss Rachel, just like, who's holding them accountable if they're doing our taxes? Like, oh, that's a good point. That's so good. Okay. Awesome. Let's jump to, how do tax refunds actually work? Like, I know that there was one post that you guys put out that was saying, oh, if you got a lot of money here, that actually means this. So can you explain to us a little bit, like, what is a tax refund? Like, what does the tax refund say about how our spending or whatever throughout the year?
Well, I think that's two different things too, and it's a mindset, really. Like, when I say that, it's because where we're from Northern California. It's me and my mom, and so Aaron is from Chicago, and so we all three have talked about where we come from and the our families and how we were raised, and in our communities, we are told you got, like, wait till the end of the year to get that big refund, and like, it's gonna pay this and that. And I mean, like, people were like living for January, February to come, because they already planning their outfits, the trips, and everything off of these refunds. But it's a poverty mindset to the fact that you missed out on all the money that you could have been budgeting for all year round, the money that was due to you, period. And so, truthfully, we want to get to a point of where we don't really want to rely on this refund.
That's right.
We don't want to be in a place that, oh, I'm getting like $8,000 back. Like, wow, you missed out on so much throughout the year that you could have budgeted your life through that. And you're hoping that you're getting everything that was taken from you from that whole year. Yeah. Like, that's what you're really initially saying in that way. Yeah. And so it's taken so long for even us to get to a point of not relying on that refund and seeing it as like, I'm so excited to get that back, but that was my money in the first place. Yeah. That, and to kind of go back to like having what a tax refund is, I mean, it's kind of like what Dave Ramsey teaches.
Well, so through FPU and Dave Ramsey, he like discussed about like what our deductions should be. Like we should have a little bit more education about what our own personal deductions should be when we're starting a new job, if we have a family, what we should be claiming. Now, you want to make sure that you're paying all the taxes that are due. So when we get to the end of the year, either the government might owe me a couple $100 or I might owe the government. And so we're off somewhere. Okay, we can tweak it for the next year. But I think there's this big myth, honestly, around, oh, I've hit the jackpot and, I'm getting all this money back. No, you're maybe getting a portion of your money back.
Right.
You overpaid, and you should have a budget so that you understand how much money you should be receiving from your paycheck, and you're applying it appropriately to your life, not waiting for that big payday. There is no payday. It's your money. It is due to you.
Right.
You overpaid in taxes, essentially. Now, there are some deductions. There are some laws that change. There are some things that happen throughout the year. And of course, you can get money back, or it might not work in your favor, depending on your tax bracket. And you might end up owing the government. But those are all things that you, again, can be planning for, and yeah. And so it's just really through education, understanding that refunds, like, it's not this big exciting thing when you get it. It shouldn't be. That's your money. And you've waited 12 months to get your money back.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't until our tax lady back home actually really helped us with that, and knowing, for my husband and I being just young married couple, that we didn't understand that, because we had that mindset from our friends and everybody else that we had our community around. They would always like, oh, you guys don't get like all this, like at the end. I'm like, what are we doing wrong? And she was like, no, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, you're doing it right. Like, and because I'm like, no, we zero out every time. Like, you're like, I see maybe a couple hundred, like, but not thousands, like thousands of dollars. What's going on? Like, and until somebody educated me to allowing me to see it in a different perspective is where I understood better. Like, and you asked that of the IRS and what is that they don't teach us. They're not there for education. They're there to collect what they need to collect. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Is like, they're not going to educate on things that they would need to be paying us. And that's the sad part about it, is that they've created systems, online systems, to be easy and convenient, because that is the society that we live in now, is that we want things fast. We want them quick and easy and just not a lot to think about. And it's exactly where they want you to be. Because you don't know what you're missing, because you have no clue.
And honestly, I feel like it's a whole new generation that gravitates towards that. Like, this is simple. I can go online. I can have it done. Yeah. I can do it within 20 minutes on my lunch break. Okay, boom, it's done. Yeah. You don't even know what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
My goodness. The work that you guys are doing is really powerful. Like, because it's been passed down. That mindset has been passed down forever. Mm-hmm. So this is really good. And I remember when I read that, I said, I need to ask them about that, because even I'm like, woo, refunds. And I'm like, wait a minute. We got to fix some things. So good. What other myths are about the tax system?
Oh, man.
I don't know. There's a lot of things
that's kind of a big question.
There's a lot of things that you hear. One of the myths that I find pretty interesting, people who are undocumented don't pay taxes. And that's just not true. Like, people who are undocumented generally have like an EIN. And you have to think about this. They're paying taxes to a government who basically is essentially saying, you really don't have a home here, but you still have to pay us. You have to pay like everyone else pays, and maybe even more. And you don't necessarily get the deductions everybody else gets. So, I think that's a big deal.
And a lot of people say that out of ignorance of the fact that, like, oh, they're not paying, but they are paying. And that's the sad part about it, is that they're paying, but yet they're not seen as a citizen here. And now the day and age that everything that we're dealing with is that people are being thrown out when they paid their taxes.
They don't reap the same benefits and rewards that we do, but yet they're here and they're still paying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like what an opportunity for you guys to even do some activism within your practice. Like I'm just there's so much we don't know. That's amazing. Just as you discover more and more. Okay, that's a good one. All right. So I have two more questions regarding prepping taxes. How this might be a big one. How can we reduce our income taxes? Is that a thing? I don't know, guys. So help me out.
No, okay. Yeah, no, that's a good question.
I think it really has to do, there's so many different variables when it comes to doing taxes and to understanding your own personal taxes.
Yeah.
And even with how times have changed with technology and how people just, they get money from different things, from YouTube channels, whatever. There's like all of these different facets, right? But I could honestly say having somebody who is helping you keep track of everything, that's where the bookkeeper tag will come in, right? You need that in your life. A lot of people think, no, I don't own a business. No, I don't need that. But you do. You need it in your life. You need someone who can help you to understand your finances, or that you can at least just hand it over to them and, say, help me with some direction. And that'll help you at the end of the year with your taxes.
I think Erin had a good point to it. Erin's been doing such a great job with this personally as well.
Oh, I was like, really? Yeah. So the one thing that we had talked about earlier that I'm learning going through income tax preparation school, a big item is realizing how important it is to keep track of everything that you spend, which goes right along with what Ms. Rachel was saying about having a bookkeeper, because there's so many things that you spend day to day that when it comes to filing taxes could be a deduction if you're aware of those laws, which is what we're learning, and a part of the value of, using us as a team. But things like, what did you spend on your medical bills? What did you spend on your car? What did you spend to repair your car? What did you spend on maybe an entrepreneurial side hustle that maybe you haven't made a business yet? Well, maybe you should legalize the business so that you can deduct all of this because it'll save you money. Things like that. And so that's something, since starting this business, we've been really adamant about tracking everything that we spend, whether it's a food item from a meeting that we had, or software that we bought, or mileage, coming to and from meetings and stuff like that. Keeping track of all of that, because although, we haven't yet hit setting up payroll and all that type of stuff, I know that it's going to be essential for us as a business to realize the deductions that we have and that are owed to us as a business by keeping track of everything. So itemized deductions is a huge part of being able to reduce your income taxes, but that can only be taken advantage of if you're keeping track of what you're spending.
Yep. Yeah, I think receipts, it's one of the things that I really didn't keep track of. I mean, honestly, we spend so much on what we, all the time, and I would always be like, no, I don't gotta keep the receipts, it never does anything for me. But you do, my mom would always have, each year, she would have it labeled in a folder, receipts for this year, receipts for this year, and kind of that's as simple as you want to keep it, keep it all in one place, and just keep all your receipts. You don't have to put it for, oh, this is for this and this is for that, unless you like to organize that way, then you do that. But I'm not like that. So me putting it all in one folder helps me. It's just helps me because then I don't got to look at it till the end of the year when I'm dealing with my taxes. And then I'm like, okay, this is what I have, just in case we need to account for something that I truthfully totally forgot about. That, oh yeah, I did pay for that. Right. That did happen. And Erin, you're a fan of an app too that helps you.
Yeah. So one thing we've been using for our business and for myself personally, it's called Stride. And it's an app that lets you keep track of everything. So literally every time I get an email, I'll screenshot the receipt and I can upload it right to the app. And then I can go online and export the Excel sheet for that. So Stride, STRIDE, is the name of that app. And it's something I keep on my phone. And it's really helpful when trying to keep track of expenses.
So she likes technology. I like in hand. So I rather print it out and put it somewhere, but either way, if anybody's just different in that way. Another thing that could help you with your refund, or we said refund, right? That was the question?
It was refund.
Reducing.
Reducing. Okay. So reducing in the, one of the things is tied to that is what I was taught as well, was that maximizing your deductions as far as who you claim when you start a job, or that you could always go in. Most people don't know this. I don't know if it's like ingrained in us some way that we can't change our W-2s, but we can
Change them.
and you can change them at any time of the year. And sometimes people will change it when something drastically has happened in their life and they're needing less to be taken out of their paycheck. They can do that as well. But what I was taught early on was to making sure I was maximizing that, because a lot of people will just claim zero because they're waiting for that big refund at the end.
Yeah.
That's not helping you. Claim what you need to claim, and and that you're getting that throughout your everyday check that you need. And so that is how you can live and what you can budget off of. And that's just one of the tidbits that you can help. Everybody is different, though, when it comes to that personally. Mm-hmm. So depending on your household, who you take care of, your family and everything else, that's just one of the things that can help you to be able to reduce that, if that makes sense.
And why wait till there's a need? Why wait till there's like something that's dire happening in your life to do that?
Yeah.
Know that you have the freedom to go in to your HR department, to whoever, and say, I need to change. I need to update my deductions.
Yeah.
And, it's your right.
Yeah.
That is so good. That was my next question, by the way. Oh my goodness. And
sorry.
No, that's perfect. Like, so good. And I feel like, just from what I'm hearing from you guys, almost as if we should approach our personal finances as if we're running a business. And if we thought like that, like for me, I'm like, oh, how about I keep my receipts? Like, I would do that for a business. How about I do this? I would do that for a business. Like, that's how we oh my goodness. Guys, so good. Okay. So we have covered everything. So good. So where can we get connected to you? Because this is amazingly, first of all, I don't know the lingo. So I said, hopefully these questions come off the right way and that you guys understand what I'm saying and you guys hit everything. And then I'm just amazed that in such a short amount of time, you were able to help us to understand the mindset that we should go into when preparing our taxes and dealing with our finances in general. A big takeaway for me was like, man, you don't just need like someone to prepare your taxes. It would be super beneficial to have a bookkeep and just someone to walk through with you. Okay, you're doing this right. Hey, you could do better here. Just amazing. But in a short amount of time, you guys were able to help us get the picture. Like, this is important, and just change that poverty mentality. Oh, so good. How do we stay connected with you? You guys do virtual. Do you guys do virtual preparation?
Yeah.
So I'm in New York, for example. I have lots of followers in New York, New Jersey. And I don't know, y'all should not, after this, if you're hearing this, you should not be using TurboTax anymore. Here are some highly recommended tax preparers. How do we, and bookkeepers, etc. How do we stay connected to you in the future?
Yeah, you can go to payitfortaxes.com, and on that website has all the links to everything that we do. It has links to Miss Rachel's business, which we're partnered with. She does bookkeeping. She has a lot of experience in business taxes and so forth. Yeah. It has links to all of our social. You can also check out our YouTube channel and our Instagram and follow us there on Facebook. All of everything is right on that website. That's kind of the home base for us. But you can also go there and reach out to us if you have specific questions. You can, utilize the contact us, or if you want to book an appointment or book a call or schedule a call with us, you can do that all from the website. So payitfortaxes.com.
Yeah, and if you have East Coast people, like, we are a bigger brand. We're a little brand from a bigger brand, and that we are so blessed to be a part of, and Jumping Jack Tax is that. So we're on their page as well when it comes to Arizona, but we have people in New York and all over the East Coast that are with the same mindset as well, and that we all love to be a part of with each other. So we are very big on like, hey, if one of us is winning, we're all winning.
Yeah.
And so we really like, we can connect you guys with somebody from Jumping Jack Tax, because this all came from Dana Chanel and, and their whole brand with Prince Donnell as well, and what all that they have done for Jumping Jack Tax. And we are so thankful to them, because we wouldn't be here and have all these resources without them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And honestly, just kind of going back again, after 28 years of experience, it was a big deal when these guys showed me Jumping Jack Tax, and I had an opportunity to talk to them and kind of figure out like what's different about their system. It's not about the systems. It's really about the movement. It's about the community. It's about everything behind it and what it stands for.
Yeah.
And that's what, Pay It Forward Taxes just kind of embodies,
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could have signed up with any other, we could have, if it was about the system, but that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
This is, it is more of a movement.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage you and everybody else that you have following you, like, don't allow your finances to be the fear in your life.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't
that
let
is
those anxieties
that is the
live there.
big thing for us. And I know personally for me, that has just freed us in that way. Is like, I'm not scared of what we owe or what we have to pay or what is going on with our finances, because now I know what's happening in my finances.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's so freeing to know that you have that power.
Yeah.
In that you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year. I'm scared. I don't even want to look at the bank account. Like, do you know? And I totally get that. Like, we've been there, and we know we've been there from nothing to having just very little. Like, it's all because of God, and that we are just thankful to be able to have power and dominion over our own finances in that way. And that's
right.
what we want to give to everybody else.
Yeah. God is still God. Even over the IRS, God is still God.
Yeah.
He is still the king, and he will always be.
Yeah.
And so it's really trying to tear down that stress and that anxiety that comes from taxes, that comes from us understanding our own finances.
Yeah.
Like, there's this shame that immediately enters the room with people when they want to talk about taxes. And it's like, we're trying to do away with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't belong here. It's okay. Everybody's made mistakes. Everybody's had issues, but God is still God. He is still the provider, and he will always be a provider.
Yeah.
Amen. Gosh, you guys. Amazing.